Hey, welcome to Monday's Muse, your weekly wellness dose. So today we're going to be talking to one of my Arbonne sisters and 75 Hardy partners, Roseanna Martin. So you're in for a treat, and she's going to be joining here very shortly. And we're going to be talking all about holistic wellness, about her background, about her story, some things that she's learned, things we can put into practice. Hey, Roseanna.
Hello.
Hey, nice to see you face to face. I know
Yeah.
we've been doing a lot of chatting in our little accountability group. So just to kind of tell you how we met in a little bit more detail. Roseanna and I were both interested in doing 75 hard. And if you've never heard of that, check it out. It's like hard, but it's
Yes.
really life changing. I mean, I think it's an amazing experience, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so we met through another couple that are both Arbonne consultants. They're Arbonne consult partnership or something like that. And Wade put out to all of his followers that he was going to be doing 75 hard. And I remember I DM'd him and I was like, hey, I want to do it with you and like whoever else is joining you for the accountability. And she did the same. And we ended up in a little group together, in a little accountability group. So it's been really awesome. So thank you, Roseanna, for all of your um, encouragement and accountability, and just this journey together has been pretty cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes. So yeah, just to tell you a little bit more about Roseanna, she is an independent consultant, as I mentioned, with Arbonne, just like me. She is an adventure enthusiast, and she's also working a corporate job, and she's back in school. But we'll get into that. So first, Roseanna, why don't you tell those that are watching and those that will watch the replay a little bit more about yourself?
So I am from outskirts of Atlanta, in a little town called Ackworth. I've been living there for now about 5 years. I moved from Cali to Georgia when I was 7. Father retired from the military, and so home was North Georgia. Went to school in went to school in Kennesaw, and now going to school online in Phoenix, with another online schooling to get my certification nationwide in holistic training. So I'm excited about that. So I constantly am a student of life. I enjoy learning. I enjoy adventurous. I'm always on the road. Doesn't matter if I'm going to Illinois or if I'm going to my brother's or if it's just going to visit my mom. I'm constantly on the road. Don't ask me how I do it. I work a 40-60-hour job, plus I do Arbonne, and then I do my health assistance, like health coaching on the side as well, on top of nannying. So I keep a busy schedule. And
Oh my gosh.
no one can ever keep up with me. I was like, just ask and see where I'm at. Because I never know where I'm at.
Yeah.
And and so it's just like I'm constantly keep busy. The reason why I stay busy is because when I was growing up, I had ADHD. And so ADHD, I'm not focused all the time. I'm always having to do things. And so one of my biggest things was I need to get projects done. I'll start them, never finish them, and get them done. So going into the 75 days hard was like, I am going to focus on this. And by the end of the 75 days hard, I'm going to reward myself with a treat. And so my treat is getting a mountain bike. It was a kayak, but because we were traveling on trails that needed mountain bikes, I'm like, I'm getting a mountain bike. So now I'm saving the money to go to Hawaii for my 30th birthday.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yes, I remember you saying the kayak, but yeah, that's awesome. You switched it up for a mountain bike. I think both
Yeah.
are great choices. Yes. So I also want to throw out my quick disclaimer that I always say every week, that we're not medical doctors. And even if we were, you should consult with your doctor before taking any of our advice. The things that we are discussing are just based on our own personal experience and education that we have personally received. So, try anything out, I guess, and we talk about it at your own risk, if that even is applicable today. But I just like to throw that out there just for our own safety. So, why did you decide to go into wellness? Like, I know you do a lot of things, but to be back in school and to do coaching and all of that, in addition to everything you're already doing, what made you do that?
So I chose to go back and get my certification and degree in holistic wellness because growing up from the age of 1 to 10, the doctors couldn't tell my mom what was wrong with my stomach, why I had acid reflux so much. So by the age of 10, I was put on two medicines to control that. Then, of course, ADHD arose and all these other things just kept rising. So from 1 to 10, they had no clue. From 10 to 20, I was medicated. And then, so when I was medicated in and out of like middle school, in and out of high school, into my first couple of years of college, and I just got tired. I got tired of feeling tired and feeling sick all the time. So I took it upon myself to self-teach myself the nutrition ways. I went from yo-yo diets to this diet to this diet to this diet. Couldn't find something that worked with my body. Then, like, as I'm like researching and everything, asking questions to my mom and everything, I was like, Mom, what made me sick when I was little? And she goes, you always not like meat. I was like, okay, ding, let's go towards the vegan vegetarian side. So I took the vegan vegetarian approach in 2013. Did it the wrong way because I thought Oreos was vegan vegetarian, but apparently that does not work. And so then I kept just going and going as I'm like, okay, I need to eliminate different things. That's when like holistic wellness just kept popping up everywhere. I just thought it was witchcraft, but into it, I was like, oh, this is stuff my mom has been doing and it's not considered witchcraft. Like just using the stuff from the earth and using teas and using like garlic or for a toothache and stuff like that. It's just like I was like, she's implied these into me. And because like she refused to take me to the doctor because I hated going to the doctor because I just was scared I was going to get put on another medicine. So come 2013, I finally decided to get off all of my medicines. Cold turkey, not the best idea, but I did. So since 2013, I have now went from being a vegan junkie to a plant-based vegan. So my diet now is plant-based, but I do 80-20. So if I do go out, I do occasionally have meat just to make sure my body still adjusts to that. But meat proteins don't go really well with me, so I don't apply that into my diet every single day. As far as I do proteins twice a day, and then I do a bunch of vegetable dishes and vegan dishes and oatmeal and stuff like that. So then once I'm starting to get into that, I was like, okay, there's still got to be more. And so then I just kept reading the labels and reading what was the ingredients in the items and seeing what was healthy, what was not. Because a product can say it's healthy on the cover, but then if you flip it over and look on the back, it's like, oh, it has red dye 40 or yellow dye 40. I'm like, all the stuff that can cause my ADHD to come back higher up. So I've been completely off medicine for now 6 years.
Awesome.
A complete turnaround from it. I don't take any Adderall anymore. And I just use, like, the products I use is all natural, like stuff from the earth and everything, teas that help me. I do make sure that there's no red dyes in my stuff because that's an allergy inside of your body that can cause the ADHD to flare up, along with some of the other man-made chemicals that we have in our food. And I was just like, no, I don't want that. So my rule of thumb is I normally go 10 ingredients or less. If I can't read an ingredient, I put it back on the shelf. And so it's very easy once you get into the pattern of like what to eat and what to get and everything. So that's why I chose to go back into wellness, because I want to help others understand the benefits of it. And I also have moms that I nanny for. They're like, my kid feels this and my kid feels this. And I'll tell them, put some ginger in like a gall and put it over their heart or their lungs. And then the next morning they're going to be coughing up the mucus. And they're like, thank you. So they'll come in within 24 hours. It's like, hey, how did you know that? I was like, well, I did it. My mom did it to me, and I've learned how to do it through here. And then, so before COVID happened, that moms would come into the store and ask me, what can I get for my kid that is not medicine? And I was like, well, I have these homeopathic medicines, or I can give you something that's from the ground or something that's a tea. And she goes, okay, tell me. They use both. And so there's one little kid that would constantly getting sick, and I suggested to put ginger in the tub with some green tea tea packets or eucalyptus tea in the tub and let them sit in there. In 48 hours, she comes back to me. She goes, thank you. And I was like, thank you for what? I was like, she goes, my kid is not like so muky anymore. I was like, you're welcome. So that's why
Yeah.
I want to help others understand the value of like, you don't have to always have that over-the-counter medicine when it's like if your body's telling you you're craving like a ginger, you're craving this, your body's telling you all of this.
Yes, yes. And that's the key is
Mm-hmm.
listening to your body. If you are too sore to do that crazy workout the next day, listen to your body. You know, if you are craving something, a lot of times, I was telling a friend of mine, she was posting on Facebook that she has been drinking lemon juice, like straight lemon juice. She's been craving it like crazy. And a lot of times that can mean that you have a vitamin deficiency or maybe you have low iron or different things. And I told her, so it's just like you have to listen to your body. And I kudos to you for, you know, looking at the alternative, you know, well, we call it alternative now, but if you think about hundreds and hundreds of years ago, this is what people did. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they used the things that came from the earth to heal themselves. And, you know, food is not just food for our pleasure, I believe. I believe it's also medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many things that are so readily available to us that we don't consider. We just go to the Tylenol or we go to the ibuprofen or whatever, which I'm not shooting that down, but there are other ways. So that's awesome. And congratulations on your journey thus far. And yeah, so that's cool. So now what exactly are you studying?
I am studying holistic wellness. It's holistic wellness nutrition and with
Okay.
certification to coach, along
Awesome.
along with business management on top
Oh,
of
great.
it.
So
Mm-hmm.
you should be able to incorporate that too, because obviously
Yeah,
the business side of things,
yeah,
um, having a coaching business, and that should also be helpful for other people. Maybe you'll be able to help other new coaches as you continue to gain experience. You know,
yeah.
another great thing. So, and that's a remarkable story. So, how would you define holistic health to someone that doesn't really know what that means, or maybe they've heard the term but they just have no idea?
Mm-hmm. So holistic health is like an ancient thing. So like we just think it's something new, but it's been around for a while. It's like what our Asian family friends have used for millions of years. And it's like between the holistic wellness approach, it's just like the whole body, like what you put in, how is it going to affect your whole body, your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health, your emotion, like how is it going to do that? Because like food is trigger to everything. For instance, water. Water is a magical ingredient. We don't know why it is because water takes the form of what it touch. It can take the form of how you feel. It can take a form of negative or positive energy. So it's just like it's something magical, but works in multiple ways. So just like when we consume water, our bodies already know that like if we go 8 hours without drinking water, sleeping, then we wake up in the morning and drink caffeine, we're now putting ourselves into dehydration. But then as you put that water into your body, then you're hydrating that body because your body's made 70% of water. Therefore, when you're consuming the water, it does magical things like, oh, my eyes hurt, like why can I not see really well? Well, how much water have you been consuming? And so like our what we put into our body holistic, like if you go the holistic approach, it takes 7 weeks for your new cells to develop. So when you're like eating greasy food and junk food, in 7 weeks of that your body's going to develop what it has had in 7 weeks. And then if you eat like your greens and your vegetables, your fiber and all that, you're going to see it in 7 weeks. It's going to show up. The saying says what you eat is what you are. um,
Yes.
and it's not like, oh, I'm going to turn into a bread. No, the from the bread turns you into this, and the fiber from the greens and vegetables turns you into like being healthy and all. And so that's like how the holistic approach is. It's just like a whole body thing. Like, how does it make me feel here, and how does it make me feel? How in the long term will it affect me?
Yes. And I love that you say that. I think I was talking to someone on Clubhouse kind of about this and about how a lot of doctors now are even considering the whole person,
Mm-hmm.
because I think traditional like Western medicine, they focus so much on symptoms and symptomology and fixing the symptoms, giving you medicine for these symptoms, versus getting to the root of the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people now, especially with, I don't want to say, you know, pandemic, I don't think that's like allowed on Instagram or whatever, but that we've been facing right now. So many
Mhm.
people are taking their health more seriously, and it doesn't just like like you said, if you're not drinking enough water, chances are you're going to get a headache, or you might get cramps in your body, or whatever. And instead of just fixing the headache, taking the Tylenol to fix the headache, what is the root cause of that headache? And
Mhm.
just like you said, if you're eating a bunch of crap, then obviously like it goes all the way down to the cells, that your cells can't produce the right they're going to be
Mhm.
disformed, and they're going to be able to keep all of the bad bacteria out from penetrating the cellular walls and all of that. So it's deeper than just not keeping a habit of eating the Cheetos and the Reese's cups all the time. It's deeper than that, because it's going to affect you in many, many ways. So that's very, very good. Very, very good. Okay, so what would you say are some of the main premises of holistic versus like the Western approach to health?
So the holistic focuses more on like the physical, the emotional, your social surroundings, the spiritual, the environment, your intelligence, and financial and occupations.
Wow.
Versus a Western approach is because like if you think in Western approach, you go see the eye doctor, you go to the nose ear doctor for your sinuses, you go to this person for this. So like a Western approach is each person has their cubicle. So
Yeah.
you can't get that full body inspection at one
Mhm.
doctor. So like if you had to go get an x-ray or images, you have to go to a doctor who's certified in that versus a
Right.
holistic person. Like they don't take like they do like modernize themselves, but because they do focus more on the earthly experiences of like how does it like help me this way. For instance, the example I read in Superfood, a Superfood by Darren Arlene. He mentions that turmeric has been around for ages because in India, they start turmeric off when they're a baby. Before they're even born out of the womb, they use turmeric. The parents use turmeric.
Wow.
So it's a constant generation of using turmeric. So that's why their inflammation, and they use turmeric, ginger, and black pepper so that their inflammation or joints are not hurting them. So with the generation keeps repeating, they keep using that same tradition where we here just like finding out. I was like, oh, turmeric does this, turmeric does that, so we try to apply it into it, but it's been around for ages, and it's just like you have to constantly do it every single like all the time. But then if you take too much of a certain like like plant or herb or something, it can cause toxicity, which
Mhm.
people don't talk about because like
Right.
where we can get toxicity from man-made medical like medicine, and then the holistic way there are toxicities in there, but you have to know how to rotate your herbs, your foods, and everything so that your body doesn't develop the toxicities from just what you eat and everything. And seeing the approach with the Western way, we just want something quick. That's what the Western side does. Like we're cubicle, like we put ourselves in little squares, but we have to visit this, and this, but we want it quick and fast. That's what
Yeah.
we want now. But like the holistic way, it's a lifestyle. Like it changes throughout the life. Like you're not only doing it for a quick 75 days, you're doing it for the rest of your life. Like if you start this process of like, I don't want to eat A, B, or C. Like for instance, I don't want to eat McDonald's because of McDonald's causes like has chemicals that I can't pronounce. Well, let me just eliminate that McDonald's and make my own bread. And so now I have bread that can have the yeast that you actually mold into your own bread. So then you're seeing the difference, even though this one doesn't mold fast as this one, the one your homemade one. And so your homemade one does have your prebiotics and your probiotics, and by eating more eating more, making your own food, you're getting all the nutrition you need. And you occasionally need supplements, but supplements only are to substitute what you're not getting.
Right.
um, where medicine is trying to eliminate an issue but can cause more issue behind it.
Yes. Yes. That is so good. So that goes right into our next question. For those that don't know the difference between a nutrition coach and someone who is a dietitian, how would you explain that difference?
Okay, so a dietitian goes to school and has to have 450 hours under a practitioner or under a physicianist. Where a nutritionist, anyone can be a nutritionist because you can be self-taught or you can go to school for it, but you can also be like a nutritionist can go for knowing something for 5 minutes or having 5 years of experience. So it's just like one takes the test. A dietitian is a nutritionist as well, but not a nutritionist is not a diet. Not all nutritionists are dietitians.
Right.
So you can go to a dietitian and they can help work with you to see what they, like see where things are, but sometimes their approach is not always going to fit the person because some dietitians go by the books and a nutritionist wants to get to the root problem. Like, okay, your head is hurting. Why is your head hurting? Have you had like enough sleep? Have you tried like using lavender? Have you tried using like a cold pack on your neck? Have you like drank water? Have you had like if caffeine's a thing, have you had your caffeine for the day? And so those are just like the little things that they want to go back and like with a nutritionist, they want to like have you read the labels and like be like, okay, this is why we use A, B, and C. This is why almond butter is better than peanut butter because peanut butter is used with chemicals when they're planted. Where almond butter, the almonds grow in a tree, where peanut butter is on the bottom, so that's collecting all the chemicals from the ground. And so it's just like giving them the options of like, okay, this is this. Where a dietitian will be like, oh, just substitute peanut butter for starches or something and they'll get your fats from peanut butter, but they're just wanting to get another sale sometimes. But a nutritionist wants to make that relationship with that person.
So, what advice would you have for someone that's maybe looking for a nutritional coach, but they don't really know what to look for to find that good match?
Mm-hmm. So I would just like question them. And there's like some people will say, "Oh, I'm a nutritionist," and they'll just give you only a certain focus. Where like a nutritionist that you want to like focus on gives you a wide variety from like anything from like this herb goes to this, and this, or they have just a wider variety. You want to like talk to them and see how they are able to like break down a list. Like, can you tell me how to read this label? Like, why am I having to read this label and all that? That's what I would look into a nutrition. Like, I started to look into nutritionists because my coach, when I had a coach, what year are we in? In 2017. And so she would tell me, hey, drink, I take protein. Never understood why and everything, but she broke it down. She's like, the reason why you need protein, carbs, and fats is because this is how your body digests that. So like carbs is your number one. So it's the fastest one to digest into energy. Then your protein is the second to digest your energy, and then fats are your third. But together they make your macronutrition. And then your micro, which is your smaller ones, are your vitamin B12s, your vitamin C's, your vitamins, your minerals, and like the stuff that helps like antioxidants and everything to help build your microbes because these two work together. And so that's how my coach taught me. Where I had a coach back in high school, not in high school, in college, in my transition of coming off medicine into my healthy lifestyle that would just throw me into the wolves. And I thought I had a great one. And so then like I look back, I was like, all you wanted me to do was eat junk food and not show me how to eat healthy and just
Yeah.
like at me. That's what they considered being a nutrition coach. I was like, so then I just kept searching and searching and searching, and I finally found one that broke everything down for me. It's like every time I had a question, and like there was no stupid questions, is what she always told me. Is like, come and ask me, and I was like, okay. And so between both of us, we coach over 32 girls now, and so like consistently, and I just like she coaches like the health and the her and her husband do the workout plans and everything, and I just help with that macro and micro nutrition for them.
Wow, that's yeah, and that's a good point that you made about them just letting you eat the junk food, because there is a huge, I think, misconception that just because you're a vegan or a vegetarian that you're healthy. That's
Mhm.
not true. There are
Right.
so many people, just like you said, Oreos are technically vegan. At least last time I heard or something, they were. So an Oreo obviously is not healthy.
Right.
You know, we have to feed ourselves with the right things, to help us, especially in the long term.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that there's this like huge thing that just because I'm a vegan, but I'm eating pasta with like bleached or enriched floured pasta and I don't know, maybe GMO beans or whatever, that is not going to properly fuel you, and you're not going to be satiated, because if you're eating all these empty carbs, then you're going to be hungry all the time, and you're going to
Mhm.
want more sugar, and then once you're eating all that sugar, you're just going to want more and more and more.
Right.
But yeah, that's it's very, very important, and I like everything that you said. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to ask you is, how important would you say, and obviously of course it's going to be a little bit biased of an answer, right? But how important would you say it is to hire a nutritional coach, especially in the world of YouTube, in the world of Google? Like, we can look anything up. There's so many people on Instagram now that doing things like this, giving away free information. How important is it to have that person though that you can talk to?
It's very important. Like I said, when I first started, I thought I had the right person, but we all need guidance. Like even when we're self-taught and everything, we still need guidance. We still need
Yeah.
that of like, hey, like, are we like actually like, is this true? Like, and having reliable sources. Like, for instance, I go to Darren O'Lean. Darren O'Lean has like so many like different people that he's connected with. Even it's became through the Zac Efron Down to Earth, just blew his name up even more. Just because like he goes into talking about superfruits, which is one of the things that I enjoy learning, and learning about how it affects the body and how it affects like the holistic way of like the mind, the health, and everything. And so like I listen to him, and I listen to like my coaches and everything, and it's just like having that support to come through, because like not everyone's gonna have the answer. Like
Right.
we, even though if it's at our hands, how reliable is that source and everything?
Right.
Like you don't want to go and just get that and be like, oh, I just saw it off of Pinterest. Here's an example. There's a girl at my gym. She calls herself a coach. We ask her, is like, where, like, what is she coaching? She goes, oh, I'm a meatless muscle. And we're like, not all vegans can get muscle like she. We're like, okay. So then she started putting fake facts out. So she got thrown out of our gym because of false information. And so
Yeah.
then like a couple of them be like, hey, what do you think of this? Because they overheard a conversation I had with my elliptical buddy, and they're like, I heard that you were like talking about nutrition. And they're like, I'm like, yes, but like don't take my sources well, but here's the sources I use, and I can like pass them to you guys. And they're like, oh, thank you. Like I would rather have a reliable like name behind it instead of having fake facts behind it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because like you said, especially someone that has taken the time to become educated from a good school, um, that speaks volumes. Because just like you said, a nutritionist or nutritional coach could literally just learn stuff and like brand themselves as a coach, or they can they can go 5 steps above, and they've done their own self study. Just like you, I know you've done a lot of reading. I'm sure you've watched a bunch of documentaries, all the different things, and you know a lot of stuff. But why not really invest in yourself and learn more so that you can properly serve people in the future? Because it's a toss up. I mean, that's someone's life and their health. Like, it's nothing to be playing around with. It should be taken seriously. So yeah, I mean, even if when I think about 75 hard, I'm sure both of us, we could have done it on our own. I didn't
Right.
have to have a team of accountability, but it makes a huge difference, especially in the beginning when you're being
It's like,
tempted all around.
yeah, like when you have that accountability, where in any kind of field, like at work or at in a challenge or something, it makes it a whole lot fun. And
Yeah.
like you're just like, oh, I can't wait to like post and like tell them about my day. And like even it's the randomest little things. Like I'm famous at work just to pop up random stuff because like I work in the corporate industry, which is called Sprouts Farmers Market, and we have a vitamin section that has over 8,000 vitamins in it. So when you'll catch me just looking at different things and I'm like, hey, I've learned about this. And then like not even 2-3 weeks later, hey, what can I use for heartburn, or what can I use for this? And I was like, do you want this or this? And they're like, what's going to help it in the long run? I was like, this will help it in the long run because I took the time out of my time at work to go and invest in reading. Because like we have this like vitamin book, but no one wants to look at the vitamin book. So like you had to have your sources, and it's like this big, not if not bigger, of a vitamin book with every vitamin that we have. And then we also have our computer system. But like I'll take time, like 30 minutes out of my day, just to go look at one thing. And then like it's helpful because my mom, who is in her older ages, she's like, I need this for this. I was like, you're not going to the doctor just to get another shot. You're going to take this that's going to help improve you in the years. So like she currently has a fracture in her arm from where she fell a couple of years ago. And so it constantly hurts. And I was like, all right, I need you to take some minerals because you're lacking minerals. And I need you to drink a lot more water. And she's been on it for 6 years. I'm not no doctor in this expert, but this is how she has felt because I gave her the homeopathical, like earth stuff to fix her bones. And I was like, Mom, you taught me this when I was little. But she's to that age that she's like, I just want it fast. I want it fast. Like, no, Bob, I want you around to watch my kids.
Yeah.
Like, to like imply it to her, and her sister also helped me get into where I'm at with my nutrition because her sister is a nurse as well. And she's like, I don't like, she was telling my mom that she didn't want me to become a nurse because of all of the stuff that like involved like the chemicals and everything. And she knew how I'm very like nature, organic, like if it comes from the ground, I'm probably using it. And so that has helped me so much to get to where I'm at.
That's awesome to have that support system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as we come up on closing, I have a couple more questions for you. What would you say is like the number one misconception that you are seeing or hearing in regards to nutrition?
The biggest one I see is labels. Labels. Like I work in a dairy department, but I also can help in the produce and like in the vitamins because there's like two sections that are catty cornered for me. And so the biggest thing I see, like if something says it's grass fed, for instance, is it really grass fed? Because if you turn the label around, it'll say, oh, it was in such field, blah, blah, blah. So it like, it's not like, and then like sugar's another thing. So like everything has sugar in it. And if it's been taken out, it's been manually taken out by humans. So it's been tweaked. And so everything has sugar. Milk for sure has sugar. I always get the question, I'm on keto. I'm looking for a yogurt that doesn't have sugar. Drives me nuts. I have these right here. They still have sugar in them because the protein in the yogurts that come from the milk has sugar in it. I was like, you're looking for something between 5 and 13. It took me a while to understand keto, but I finally understood it. And I was just like, understood it enough to help a customer out with it. And so then other times I'll be like, oh, I also have these plant-based that don't have the lactose in the lactose protein. So just reading the labels, like even if it says that little butterfly that says non-GMO on it, not always is it non-GMO, because like you can turn it around and like if you can't read 3 ingredients, if it's too long for you to read, probably not good for you. But if you're like able to read, there's so many products now that like has 10 or less ingredients. For instance, milk has 7 ingredients, and then there's another milk called 3 Trees, which is almond milk and water. That's it. And then vanilla extract, and if you get the vanilla one. So it's like 3 ingredients. So that's my rule of thumb, is just like read the labels, read the ingredients. I have a gentleman who is a bodybuilder that comes and calls me Dr. Rose at work, and we work side by side. And he goes, Dr. Rose, is this good? Can I have this? Like, no, it has some kind of alcohol sugars. It's not good for you if you're bodybuilding. And that has milk protein or wheat protein. Like he can't have milk. So I was like, he's like, oh, okay. And then he'll just ponder on it. And then 30 minutes later, he'll come up and he goes, Miss Rose, why can't I have milk? Because of the way it processes when you're trying to bodybuild. And then a week later, can I have this? And I was like, yes, you can have this. And even like if I do something random at work, like with 75 Days Hard, they're like, hey, can you have can you have this? And I was like, no, it has gluten and dairy. So like now they picked up, just like, oh, you can't have this. I was like, correct. And then they go, and I was like, thank you. I'll take the fruit and vegetables over the cookie that you're just trying to give me. So
Right.
they like pick up on stuff. The people who you're around will pick up on your nutritional habits, and they'll be supporting you. Like you might think that you have a support team, but people are watching, from your toddlers to like your coworkers to if you say it over and over, like, hey, I'm trying to be healthy, or hey, I'm watching my gluten, my dairy and everything. And then you'll see that people be alerting you and be like, hey, you shouldn't be eating that, or like, hey, have this instead. Like they're there, guys.
Yeah,
like
absolutely. And
they're
like you
there.
said, there's so many options. I mean,
Mhm.
you can even make your own almond milk or whatever now, and it's not going to be a crazy process.
Mhm.
So yeah, I agree. Okay, so I guess my last question before the fun fact that I always ask everyone is, for someone that maybe they're a vegan and they are not healthy, or they're not doing their best and they don't really know where to go next, or just someone that wants to make a stride towards living a healthier, holistic lifestyle that's sustainable for them. What advice do you have for someone? Where do they start?
I would say little steps, because like you can't eat an elephant in one bite. You take the
Right.
little steps, because you don't want that drastic change to happen and then you go down the rabbit hole. You want it to like move. For instance, my story with my weight loss, about 5 years ago in 2005, I was at 171, my highest peak of my weight loss. And so my goal was to get to 132. I did not want to go and like do the quick weight loss. I wanted to lose it. So it's now 2021. I'm not afraid to say that I'm at 139. Not because I've had coaching and I've done the Arbonne program a couple of times, and then I've of course done 75 hard. But I'm not scared to say I'm at 139. I'm getting closer to my goal that I set 5 years ago, because I took 2 pounds. I'm like, okay, if I can keep 2 pounds off, I can go to the next step. I can keep doing that. And for someone who's like vegan and they don't feel like they are getting where they need to go, I would consider like portioning your food, watching like even if it's like something like, so take gluten out, because a bunch of vegan stuff has gluten in it and it has soy in it. So like taking those products out, you can start to see a difference in your body, in your health, in your breathing, and then like your mental mindset. Just like taking out little things. Don't go too drastic and just like be like, oh, I need to like take gluten completely out, because it takes a long time and it's a lot of money. So just slowly take it out, substitute it. So like if you're eating what is it, tempeh, substitute it with lentils or substitute it with black beans, because then tempeh is kind of a form of a bean, but tempeh has gluten in it and also is made out of soy. So just switch it over to lentils or beans or red beans or something like that, and you'll start to see the changes, just like little changes. And then
Yeah.
like other thing is like processed meat in vegans is considered with high soy. So soy is another non-GMO product, and so if you want to like you want to eliminate the processed food. And for like people who have hormone problems during like with their vegan things, because our hormones go up and down, it's just like having so much not testosterone, estrogen from soy, you can cause those hormone balances to fluctuate, and so like then you feel cruddy and everything. But just like also just imply more water, like more water into your diet, and then you'll start to see the little changes, and then you'll start to see that you crave more water, you crave more strawberries and stuff. And like even if you don't like the taste of water, just put fruit in it, like
Mhm.
berries or pomegranates or ginger or mint leaves or citrus. Like, it's just little changes that you just modify throughout the, if you don't like something, modify it. Like, if you don't like the way the water tastes, put berries in it. Try
Yeah.
that. Like,
And
and
lemon.
just things. And then you'll start to pick up that in 7 weeks. So like if you do it for 7 weeks and you don't see it change, then your body, by the 7th week into the 8th week, you start to see that your body is like, oh, my skin looks better. I look more hydrated. I look younger. Like, I'm glowing, and everything is because your body's taking the nutrition. But it takes your body 7 weeks to complete something. So like, just give it 7 weeks. Take 7 weeks to just like take it out and everything, and then you'll start to notice it little. But don't go all full in. Take little steps to switching it around.
Yes, yes, that's great advice. You know, even you think it's March now. So a lot of people start these New Year's resolutions or, you know, goals or whatever. And, you know, I'm not knocking that. I set goals every year. I'm sure you do too. I mean, you should, I think. But a lot of people bite off more than they can chew. And they're like, I'm going to work out 6 days a week. And that's from like not working out at all. Or maybe they go like on one walk during the week and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe start with two and then add another day, and you know, start it with baby steps, just like babies. I mean, they can't run automatically
Mm-hmm.
straight out the womb. Like, they have to learn to crawl, and then they have to learn to walk, and then you can jog, and then you can run. So um, it's a journey. Life is a process. Our health is a process and a journey. Nothing's going to happen overnight. And if it does happen overnight and too quickly, a lot of times you're not going to be able to sustain it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better for it to take longer than really quick. You know, I hear people, I was talking to somebody not so long ago, and she's doing this diet I won't say, I'm not a big fan of. And, you know, she's like, I lost all this, like 7 pounds in a week. And okay, well, for your frame and weight and everything, that's kind of a lot in one
Mm-hmm.
week. A lot of you're just not going to be able to sustain it. So it's better to take more time, enjoy the process, don't stress about it, and like she said, just take one step at a time.
Yeah.
So, Roseanna, thank you so much for being my co-host. That was amazing. But before we go, a couple things. First, I want to know what your fun fact is. I would like to ask that question.
My fun fact that most people don't know about me is I am Mexican American. My mother
Really?
is Mexican. I am white because of my father, and so like I grew up in a bilingual household, and so I'm able to not only bring in the holistic wellness through English, but I also do it to my family on my mom's side in Spanish, and I get lots of questions on that. So like my brother, we call him the whitest Mexican because he's like super white. His grandmother calls him a gringo, but that we don't take no offense to that because we both are white, and he's just like 6'2" giant and with a Mexican name. So it's just like it's quite hilarious to just like see like the people. And then I have a coworker that looks completely Mexican but doesn't know a lick of Spanish. And I was like, he goes, "Can you please help me? Like, I need some help." I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll help them."
Wow.
And it's like something that you wouldn't notice. And then another thing, like another fun fact is, even though I speak well, I do carry a disability, learning disability. So with the like I'm very knowledgeable and like my intelligence level is higher than most people, but like I will misspell words and I will switch words around and just like get my grammar incorrect. So like reading a text message or reading an email from me, you'll think I never went to school, but it's because of the dyslexic and the bilingual and having grammar issues because I was taught Spanish first and English is my second language.
Oh,
So like when I went into school, they always thought I was a special needs kid because I was always hyper and I couldn't like get my reading correct and like math was my favorite thing. Like you put math numbers and I was like, I'm done. And then they're like, well, go read. And I was like, no.
mm,
So, but now I take my time. That's why I have 2 degrees unfinished because I take my time and pace myself through the degrees just to get the information I need. And then I'm working on to complete my certification and associate's degree in nutrition and wellness too.
yes. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Well, oh my gosh, I would have never guessed that you were half Mexican.
Yeah.
That was good. Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. And why don't you just share really quick where people can find you if they want to follow you and stay in touch? Where can they go?
I am on Facebook and Instagram. So my Facebook handle is Roseanna M Martin, and then my Instagram handle is Rose_Martin. And I post a lot on my stories. If you go onto my Instagram, you'll see more of my adventure with my sibling. So if you want any questions or answers, just shoot me a message. I'll get to you as when I can because I am a busy person. So just watch my stories. I don't post often, but when I do get into the rhythm of posting, I do have good content that's coming out. I'm working on it's a month content that I'm working on right now, just to push out after my 30th birthday. So it's my goal to push it out in August.
Awesome. Yes. Well, happy early birthday, and hope it all works out for you to go to Hawaii. I know I'm coming up on 32, so I'm trying to go somewhere. I don't know if COVID's going to allow me to, but we'll see.
Right.
So yes, thank you so much. I will have her information linked in this video as soon as I post it after this. We got some feedback that is very informative. I'm glad you are liking it. And yes, join me next week for Monday's Muse, your weekly wellness dose. Again, thank you all so much and have a good day.
Thank you.
Welcome. Bye.
Bye.
All right, y'all. I will see you next week. Same time, same place. If you have anyone maybe that you'd like to hear from, someone that you'd like to see me interview, a topic of interest to you, please let me know. Send me a DM, send me an email. It's all linked in my profile. And until next week, have a great week and a great Monday. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.